Good morning, world. It's Ivan Mayer here again. It's going to be another very interesting video. It is 4:20 in the morning. Yeah. Bad news is you're going to have to wait a couple hours from now for the video to get uploaded. You're going to have to wait a couple hours from now for the video to get uploaded. Obviously. You're going to have to wait a couple hours from now because the internet cord's not here. That's why what? You guys are probably wondering, Ivan, why does your family keep doing that? I don't know. My family hates me, obviously. They hate me so much they take away their cord like every day. It's crazy, man. Ivan, how long have they been taking the cord? I don't know, a good 2+ months now. They've been taking away the cord every midnight. A couple of days they left the cord, but they've been taking away the cord every midnight, man. It's crazy, man. Holy shit, Ivan, your family hates you. Yeah, man, they hate me a lot, man. Hence why every night I always watch movies I always watch movies. Because I know they're gonna take away the cord, hence I always make sure I have a movie for me to watch. Hence why I binged the whole Hobbit trilogy in the past week. I just finished Battle of the Five Armies. I enjoyed it a lot more the second time when I watched it. When I saw it in theaters, I didn't enjoy it that much. When I saw it today, I enjoyed it a lot more, but it's the worst of the three movies. You see what I'm saying? The movie was a bit messy, in my opinion. A little messy, and it had some pretty bad CGI in the movie. Even though it had a lot of action, I was not a fan of that computery look, man. With the orcs and the dwarf army, the elf army, it was very, very computery. Hence why I'm going to tell Peter. I'm not a fan of that Hobbit look, what you got for the Hobbit, man. I recommend all you Lord of the Rings fans go watch the Hobbit trilogy and go watch Lord of the Rings. You see a huge difference in quality, man. The Hobbit was a little messy, and Lord of the Rings was a lot better than the Hobbit. As the Hobbit had the computery look was bad, man. I didn't like that look. I did not like that look for the what? The computery look in the Hobbit. That's why Battle of the Armies, in my opinion, is the worst of the three movies. What? Even though they had a lot of action, the war wasn't that great. Why wasn't the war wasn't great because it was kind of all over the place. You know, you have the orcs attacking the city, and you have the dwarves. They want to fight the elves, obviously, and eventually they end up fighting the orcs. You know what I'm saying? And the Elven King does not want to help the dwarves, obviously. They're surrounded by the army, obviously. You know what I'm saying? And Thorin is suffering from the gold sickness, obviously. And all of a sudden, him and his 13 dwarves march out. I'm like, man, what are these 13 dwarves going to do against this fucking army? And you have that scene with him running. I'm like, oh my god. This is a little silly, you know what I'm saying? That's how, when you watch Battle of the Armies, you can tell Peter Jackson's wing it caught up to him, obviously. Yeah. That's why I don't want something messy happening with you after your Hobbit trilogy, Peter. I'm gonna be strict, man. Peter, I don't want you winning like you did for the Hobbit. I don't want something messy happening for my movie like you did for Lord of the Rings, for the Hobbit. For the Hobbit. As the Hobbit trilogy, no offense, wasn't the greatest. Battle of the Armies was not bad. I give it a 5 out of 10. It was okay. And Unexpected Journey and Blessed and Small were pretty good movies. Those were 6 out of 10 movies, 6.3 out of 10 movies. Whereas Five Armies is like a 4.8, 5 out of 10. It wasn't that great of a movie. And Peter Jackson knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Battle of the Armies wasn't that great. Yeah, it wasn't that great of a movie, man. when you compare it to Return of the King Two Towers, it falls short. Because Peter winged it. I don't know. Hence why I'm going to be very, very strict with Peter. I'm going to say, Peter, please. I do not want that full-on CGI look like you got for the Hobbit, man. Otherwise, my movie won't be as good. You have Zane still have that Hobbit look, full-on CGI Aratat, and you have like full-on CGI. You build cheap like 0.1, 0.2 acre sets, and you rely heavily on blue screen, green screen. The movie won't be as good. It'll be pretty good. It might be maybe a 6, 7 out of 10 movie, but I can't see it topping Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy. If you have it full on CGI like The Hobbit, no man, stay away from that. Peter Jackson asks you, Ivan, you saying you're not a fan of CGI? No, Peter, I want CGI in my movie, but mix it with what? Mix it with practical effects to make that way your world looks amazing, obviously. Just like for Lord of the Rings, they use CGI, but they mix it with a lot of practical effects. That's why the Lord of the Rings, when you watch it, looks a lot more natural than fucking The Hobbit. The Hobbit they use full on CGI for everything, man. You have that lightish background. I'm not a fan. It looks a little too computery. There's now one scene when what? In that one scene when Thorin and all of them are in the mountains, obviously, and the elves make a pact with him, obviously. And you see Gandalf tells the elves, you know what I'm saying? Like the dwarves cannot be sorry, the Elven King's like, yeah, the dwarves cannot be bargained with. And Gandalf talks to the Elven King, obviously, telling them to not go to war against the dwarves, obviously. And you see the mountain where the orcs are. Obviously, the orcs are staying with Thorin where Thorin and the dwarves are all staying. You saw that CGI. You can tell it looked a little cheesy. Yeah, that's why I'm not a fan of full CGI. Peter, please, man, stay away from full CGI for Zans. Otherwise, it will not be as good, man. I know what I'm doing. But like, Ivan, why don't you like CGI? Like, CGI is what's active. Peter, look at how your Hobbit trilogy turned out. Even though your movies, your first two movies were pretty good, they're not bad. You can tell the full on CGI. You see what? It didn't look as great, man. The war was not that great. Battlefront Armies did not have a great war. The war was kind of cheesy. It was very computery, obviously. The Dwarf King looked a little bit funny. You know what I'm saying? Dane, I believe, Thorin's cousin. Yeah, he looked very cheesy a little bit because it was full on computery CGI. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of full on CGI. You know what I'm saying? I am not a fan of full on CGI. As in my opinion, Battlefield Armies was the worst of the three movies. It's the worst of the three. Battlefield Armies, you can tell it got a little goofy. Aratat running on the rocks, like it was a little goofy in some sections. That's why I'm like, Peter, please, I need you prepped. I don't want something messy happening like you did for your Hobbit trilogy. You see what I'm saying? I don't want anything messy happening for your Hobbit trilogy. So tomorrow I'll watch Obi-Wan. I'll watch Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'll finish that season, and after that I might watch Jurassic World on Saturday night. Today's Wednesday, right? Yeah, Saturday midnight I'll watch I might watch Jurassic World. I heard that had mixed reviews. Jurassic World. Yeah, I'm gonna tell Peter, please. I'm not a fan of that CGI look for my fucking movie. And Grandma and Peter will ask me, Ivan, are you saying you don't want CGI in your movie? You need CGI? Like, no. I want CGI, but I want to mix the CGI with big practical with practical effects. That way your world looks more natural. And if the world looks more natural, it looks. You know how Bree, the city of Bree in Lord of the Rings, the Shire. You know what I'm saying? Rivendell. Rivendell looks pretty natural. You know how Rivendell looks pretty natural? Bree, the Shire, Rohan. You know what I'm saying? Those places look natural. Yeah, and then when the moment you get to Erebor and the Hobbit, the Lonely Mountain and all that stuff, and Lake Hound looks very computery and cheesy. Yeah, because they use full on CGI for that. They built cheap sets and they relied heavily on green screen. Tell Peter that the way he knows. Otherwise, if you don't tell Peter, if I don't tell Peter that I don't want the computer CGI look, he's gonna have Zanes be a hardcore CGI movie, and then the movie won't be as good. He's gonna guaranteed have Eric be a full on CGI wolf, and you're gonna get something like Azog for the movie. Azog even who looked a little cheesy in the movie because he was a full on CGI orc. Compare the boss orc in Lord of the Rings and the ring race to fucking Azog. You see a difference. They look more. The boss orc was a lot more scary than fucking Azog in Lord of the Rings. Azog in Lord of the Rings looks a bit, and the Hobbit looks cheesy a little bit because he's a full-on CGI orc. I don't want that for my movie. Tell Peter that the way he knows. I don't want that look for my movie, obviously. I don't want that look for my movie. See what I'm saying? I don't want that look for my movie. And that's why I'm gonna have those memes with Peter Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Peter. I don't want to rent digital cameras like you did for The Hobbit. The Hobbit, they filmed it on Red Epic Digital, 3D. I don't want you filming Zanes in digital. No, otherwise you're gonna get that Hobbit look. Digital is really good for if you want your world to look really really amazing and have that computery feel. Digital camera is really really good for your movie. But if you want your world to look natural, you just stay away from digital cameras. You need to use the film cameras like they did for Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings they use film cameras, hence why you got the natural look for the world. Whereas The Hobbit they went in a different direction. They used digital and they relied more heavily on CGI. Whereas for Lord of the Rings, they relied heavily on practical effects. Well, they use a lot of CGI. Well, the moment you got to Return of the King, they use a lot of CGI for that. Return of the King is when you can tell Peter and them they focus more on CGI for Return of the King. But Fellowship of the Ring and Two Towers look a lot more natural than Return of the King, obviously. Hence why I'm going to be very very strict with Peter. Like, Peter, please, I don't want that. What? If I hire him, right? Because I might choose Mel Gibson. Don't hate me, Peter. I'm speaking hypothetically. If I hire Peter Jackson, I'm like, Peter, please, I don't want you using full-on CGI for my fucking movie, man. I want to build, for Xanax, I want to build the set on location, like you did for Helm's Deep. I want to build the Cyrus like you did for the Shire, and I want to build, Barack, Barack. I want Barack to look natural, too. Build the city of Barack. Build a bunch of pavilion tents where the orcs live. You have all these rocks and lands barren. You have the forest of Galathia. Build a 0.8 acre forest so the world looks natural. And if you build those big sets and you apply the special effects CGI towards those sets, obviously, your world will look super amazing. Obviously, will look very natural. Will look unheard of. Something better than Pandora, man. Something amazing. I want to keep saying this, even though what, even though the Hobbit was a little bit of a mess, obviously, for someone who winged it, Peter Jackson did a good job. As the Hobbit trilogy is not terrible. Like, I saw Unexpected Journey, I was very entertained watching it. I'm like, this is a pretty good movie. I saw Desolation of Smaug. I'm like, oh my god, this is pretty good. Battle for Armies is okay, not so much. But the first two movies Peter Jackson did were pretty good movies. They weren't terrible movies. They weren't bad like the fucking Star Wars sequels. The Star Wars sequels were a mess. You see what I'm saying? Whereas at least A Hobbit you can say was pretty good. It was better than fucking the Star Wars sequels. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So Peter Jackson, that's how you know Peter Jackson is a very talented director. As he pulled it off under so much pressure. Warner Bros. Only gave him 3 months to prep, and he winged it. And the movie still turned out. The two movies still turned out pretty good. Whereas the third one wasn't that good. Wasn't as good. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't his wing. It caught up to him, obviously. But it wasn't Peter's fault that he winged it. Warner Bros. Only gave him 3 months. He had no choice. He had to wing it, man. You know what I'm saying? But because he had experience, he was obviously he's still what? Because he had experience, he what? He was able to work under that kind of stress and pressure. I saw behind the scenes, and I saw how Peter Jackson was like stressed out, man. He was like stressed out, and like he looked completely like out of it, man. He was stressed out, yeah, because he had to do some rewrites of the script. When Del Toro, I believe, wrote all the three, he co-wrote all the 3 scripts, obviously, because I saw his name in the credit, obviously. But I guarantee you, Peter Jackson did a couple rewrites for the scripts. He changed a few things, obviously, as it wasn't Guillermo del Toro's original movie, right? Hence why what? Hence why you got to be careful. I'm gonna tell VJ Sweetie. You know what I'm saying? I want to take that vacation with you. You know what I'm saying? I want to take that vacation with you during the 8 months. But I need you, Sweetie, helping me. You know, you read my book, I read your book. Hey, Sweetie, let's go over each of the volumes and let's discuss some of the changes that should be made. What scenes you think will not translate well on screen, and what scenes you think we should add for the Eratat, Tactius, Astonius. We can think of scenes and we write notes. Eratat and all of them have swords instead of axes. Tactius' eyes change color. Eratat's eyes change red. Or his eyes don't change color at all. He has like black, I don't know, orange eyes. Eratat. You know what I'm saying? I'll print out the pictures. Okay, VJ, this is what I'm thinking of for Eratat. Pennywise the Clown. I print out those 2 pictures. Printed in a color printer, obviously. That way, when I hire Peter in them, I can show them the pictures I'm thinking of for the wolves and the bats. That way I'm prepped, obviously. Yeah. I'm going to study the Side-Fill book. Obviously. I'm already halfway through the book. I'm going to study it, obviously. And I'm going to study the Fellowship of the Ring script. See how did Fran, Peter, and Philip write the script, obviously. Co-write the script. And we can study how they wrote the script. That way I have some good ideas for my movie, obviously. Study the script a good 3-4 times. Keep going over it over and over again. That way you're prepped as a screenwriter. That way when I hire Peter Jackson, I'm not lost. I have some good ideas for my movie. Isn't there? Be like, holy shit, Ivan, you're prepped. You know what I'm saying? Like, before you even hired us, you took your notes. You studied my script. Yeah, Peter, I studied your Fellowship of the Ring script. You studied Side-Fill. Yeah, I know Side-Fill, Ivan. Yeah. He's like the guru of screenwriting. Yeah, everyone knows who he is. Yeah, everyone, all you guys in Hollywood know who Side-Fill is. He's like the guru of screenwriting. He taught like courses on screenwriting, and yeah, he died like almost 10 years ago. 9 years ago, he died. He was an older dude, obviously, but yeah, everyone knows who Side-Fill is, man. He's the guru of teaching screenwriting. Yeah, that's why I bought his book. Yeah. So my deal for Peter Jackson is I'll pay him $107 with bonuses and salaries. He gets his $2,000 gift card, and I'll give him a $3,500 gas card, and I'll give him $60,000 worth of commercial money. You have Peter do 2 commercials for your company, obviously. A nice commercial. A nice, like, $25,000 commercial. A $25,000 commercial is a commercial you get on, like, YouTube and TV, yeah. If you want to get a nice commercial like that, you have to put a lot of money towards it. I'll put a good, like, I don't know, $100K towards the commercials, the 6 commercials for Zanus. We do each commercial for $25,000 each. $20,000 each. Get a blue screen, green screen, do a nice commercial. First commercial, I might do it maybe in my office. With the 17 Peter Jackson with Mo del Toro or Mel Gibson, whoever I hire. And then I'll have Peter Jackson do another commercial the 4th year. Or I can have him do one the 2nd year with the actors. That way the 4th year he can focus on this. You don't. Last thing you want to do is have Peter Jackson do commercials while he's directing. He doesn't. You need him to be focused. Hence why I'll have him do the commercial the first 2 years. The first year with the 17, the 2nd year with the actors. Peter Jackson does a commercial with the actors. You're gonna see Peter in the commercial. I'll pay him like $30K for a commercial. That's a nice paycheck for. Pay him a lot of money. That way he works hard for you for a nice like 2-minute commercial. I'll have a nice 2.5 minute commercial. Pay Peter $30K. That's a good paycheck for Peter. Nice pocket money for him. And the actors, you pay them their nice $10,000, which is nice. And I'll give Peter 0.6% of the profits if the movie does $176 billion or less. I'll say if the movie does. I'm not going to say the amount because he might get jealous. Peter, if more than 1.1 billion people buy a movie, you get 0.4. If less than 1.1 billion people buy a movie, you get 0.6. Either way, you're going to make your $300 million in royalties. Your 330, 300, 280, 270, 250 million royalties you'll make. Peter. Most likely. 250 is high unlikely. He's going to make at least 280, 300 million around there on average. Peter. It's a good paycheck. So he made what? Like a $400 million for the movie, man. $400 plus million for the movie. It's a good paycheck for Peter. If his agent gets greedy and he wants what? Peter Jackson's agent gets greedy and he wants like 1%. I'm like, Peter, I'm not going to give you 1%. That's crazy, man. You're going to make like 500 million, 550 million royalties, something crazy. You're going to make like 650 million. That's crazy. The moment you pay Peter 500, 600 million, he's ripping you off. You're being way too generous. As I know all you Hollywood actors, oh, Ivan's generous. Yes, I'm generous. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to just do it like that. If you think I'm going to give you like 1% of my money each, you're crazy, man. And have you walk away with $500, that's crazy. You're not worth my royalties. I can give the actor 0.3, 0.2, 0.1, 0.07, 0.05, 0.04, 0.03, 0.02, 0.01, but that's it. You're not, you're, especially like John Boyega and them, if they try to get 0.03, I'm like, John, you're not an ace actor. You're not even worth 0.01%. I'm just trying to give you that. That way you work harder for me. Because Zane's is a unique story. I guarantee John Boyega's agent might get cocky. He might try and get, Ivan, what if you pay John 10? I'm like, no, I'm not going any higher than 8.9. He's a rising star. He's not an A-list actor. I'm not paying John 10. I'm not paying Yvonne George 6. No. Pay it. He gets 4. John gets 4. Obviously, I'm giving them 0.01, which is good enough. They're all going to make their 4+ million royalties at least. 4, 5, 6 million royalties they're going to make. John Boyega and all them. The movie does like 176 billion. John Boyega will make like his like 5 million royalties around there. One point move by a movie, which is around that range. John Boyega is going to make 6 million royalties. It's a good paycheck for John Boyega, excluding his 8.9 that he made. Walking with a $5+ million, I don't know, 5.2, 5.3 million check in his bank with the royalties and the speaking fees. Yeah, man, he's struck it rich, obviously. But I'm generous, but I'm not stupid. I'm not going to let these actors do me, man. As if you think I'm going to give you like some actors, I'm telling you, man, I guarantee you, like Scarlett Johansson, might get cocky and you might try and ask for 1% each of my guys. You're not even worth my royalties. I'm just giving you a small piece of the pie because that way you work harder for me. And because you guys build some buzz, I'll be nice. You know what I'm saying? It's just, yeah, it's not fair, Ivan, that you're taking all that, you and VJ are taking all that cheddar. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, you and VJ are going to make your $55 billion off fucking Zanus, or $60 billion off Zanus, $48 billion off Zanus for your movie alone, and you're going to make another like 40-something, $50 billion off your merch. And we're not getting a piece. Okay, fine. I'll give you a small, tiny piece. But if you think I'm going to give you a big chunk of my money, you're crazy. And have you walk away with $500, you're crazy. I'm not giving you 1%. You're not getting that 0. The highest I'm going to go for the bigger aces was 0.3. That way you keep them in check and they don't rip you off, obviously. And the highest I'm going for Peter Jackson is 0.6. And if Peter gets angry, I'm like, Peter, if you don't like my offer, I'll hire Mel Gibson over you. And you can go back to Hollywood being a dirty slave and making less money if you don't like my offer. As you don't even make this money in Hollywood, Peter. You probably make on average your $40 million for your movies. $30 million for your movies, and you get a nice $34 million in royalties, Peter. $50 million royalties. I'm giving you $300 million worth of royalties. $250, $300, $330 million worth of royalties. It's more than what you made for Lord of the Rings. Accept my deal. If you don't like my offer, I will hire someone else. But the only can I can think of after Peter Jackson is Mel Gibson. He would be my other choice. If I were to hire Mel Gibson and he's greedy, the only other can I would think of is Peter Jackson. The only other can who would also be good for Zane's is Ridley Scott. But I told you, Ridley Scott is fucking old. He's like 82 years old now. By the time I start Sky Sisters will be like 86. He's too fucking old, man. Like, he might not even make it to my fucking red carpet, man. Because once you hit, don't hate me, Ridley Scott. Once you hit your mid-80s, you're now in your death, obviously. Any day now you can die. You go to sleep and not wake up and you can die. You see what I'm saying? Hence why Ridley Scott's out of the picture. He's too old. Ivan, I'm fine. I'm like, no, Ridley, you're not fine. You're too fucking old. I don't think you can manage 8 months of work, man. I don't think Ridley Scott would be able to manage all that work. It's too much for him. He's too old, Ridley Scott. He's fucking old. He's 82 years old, Ridley Scott. He's fucking old. He's in a good 8, 5, 7 years he could die. Hence why he's out of the picture, obviously. Right? That is my deal for Peter Jackson. As do not let these fucking animals dupe you. See what I'm saying? That is my deal for Peter Jackson. That is my deal for Peter Jackson. You see what I'm saying? That is my deal for Peter Jackson. I'm not going any higher than that for Peter. That is my deal. You see what I'm saying? That is my deal for Peter Jackson. I am not going any higher than that for him. That is my deal. For Peter Jackson. Do not let these guys rip you off. And I guarantee his agent will be, Ivan, what about the merch? I'm like, no, man, he's not getting any pieces of merch, 0. As if you think I'm gonna let you dupe me and have Peter Jackson walk away with $600 in my royalties, he makes $700. You're crazy. Why don't you give Peter 0.6% of the merch item? I'm like, oh, because he's not featured on the posters. Yeah, but Ivan, he's responsible for building your billion-dollar Zanus empire of your movie, obviously, your movie franchise. Oh, yes, that's why I'm giving him 0.6% of the profits, or 0.4 if the movie does more. He's making his $300 million in royalties, 250, 280, $300 million in royalties, Peter. He signed a nice $350 plus million deal, Peter. As Peter will guaranteed make his $350 million plus from my movie, with his 107 salary and bonuses and his $250 to $300 in royalties. He's gonna make his $350 to $400, $430 million, Peter, for my movie. That's double, more than double that's double what he made for fucking Lord of the Rings. Giving him a good fucking deal. Obviously, I also gave him a $2 million for the release. When Hollywood Peter Jackson doesn't get squat. He got his flat salary and his what? Peter Jackson didn't make any money off the games or any of that stuff. No, man. He only made money off the movie and his flat salary. That's it. I'm giving him a $2 million for the release. For Zanus. And do not let these Hollywood animals dupe you. I'll make you say that. Do not let these Hollywood animals dupe you. See what I'm saying? Because we live in a greedy world, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but Ivan, it's not fair you're making all those tens of billions. Yes, because I'm worth it. I'm God. You're not God. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, the whole world is excited to watch the movie because of me and VJ. That's the only reason why the whole world's excited to watch the movie is because of Ivan and Victoria Justice. That's the reason why the whole world's excited to watch that movie, obviously. Mainly me. Don't hate me. I'm ultimately the main show. But VJ is my sidekick. She's also the main show. Hence why what? The whole world's excited to watch me and VJ. Hence why we are worth those. The only reason why the whole world's, you know what I'm saying, lining up with their credit cards, I'm saying that's why I'm worth that free money. I don't want to hear that bullshit, that free money bullshit. And then their debit cards to buy movies because I'm worth the money. Which for you guys, they don't do that. The whole world is not going crazy over your movies. Hence why these Hollywood actors are not worth your royalties. But I'm nice enough to give them a piece of the pie. That way they work harder for me and they destroy the role. You want these Zanus actors to destroy the role. If you thought Elijah Wood's acting was good, Sean Austin acting was good, Viggo Mortensen's acting was good, Orlando Bloom's acting was good, Sean Bean's acting was good, the actor for Erwin, Amherst, King Theoden, you know what I'm saying? All these actors. You thought those acting was good. Think acting on the level of Ian McKellen, if not better than that, for the Zanus actors. You know how Ian McKellen destroyed the role in Lord of the Rings? Yeah, in my opinion, Ian McKellen stole the show of Lord of the Rings. Out of all the actors, he stood out. He stands out. Yeah. If you look at all the actors' performance, Ian McKellen stands out of all. Yeah, his acting is fucking unheard of, man. He destroyed the role, man. Ian McKellen. As Gandalf, man. Yeah, because he got paid his millions. That's why he worked even double harder than the other actors. The other actors work hard, but you can tell when you see Ian McKellen's acting, you compare it to the other actors. Ian McKellen you can tell he worked the hardest. He stole the show in Lord of the Rings, man, as the role of Gandalf. You know what I'm saying? His acting, you know what I'm saying? A demon of the ancient world. This foe was beyond in him. He said something like that, right? Run! You know what I'm saying? His acting is amazing, yeah, man. Was everyone else, they destroyed the role, but not on the same level as Ian McKellen. Ian McKellen destroyed the role, man. Because he got paid the most money. He got his nice $13 million. He got his nice $6.5 million check in his bag. He worked hard, obviously. Whereas all the other actors, they got their shitty $250K. But I heard the Lord of the Rings actors got their $1 million bonus after the 3 movies were released. So Warner Bros. Promised them a $1 million bonus if the movie grosses a certain amount of money. And it did, hence why the actors got their $1 million bonus. But I told you, $1 million is an okay paycheck. It's like $550,000 in your bank after taxes and your agent. $560,000 in your bank. That's a pretty good paycheck, but it's not the kind of money I'm paying the Zanus. The Zanus actors are walking away with millions, man. They're walking away with like a couple million in their bank. Yeah, man. And Manette will walk away with a good like $4 million in her bank, man. $3 million, $3.5 million in her bank she's walking away with around there, with the royalties and her salary. Yeah, they're all walking away with millions in their bank, more than what those lacquers in Lord of the Rings walked away with. You see what I'm saying? Guys like Don Cheadle, Ariana Grande, you know what I'm saying? The actor, Don Cheadle and all them. Don Cheadle, Ariana Grande, you know what I'm saying? Idris Elba, they're all making more than what Ian McKellen made. So you can only imagine how much they're going to destroy the role. Right? Don't forget, I gave the actors their freedom too. And so they're going to work even harder for it. If you pay the actors the money to give them their freedom and they're in a movie, and They're famous. They're famous movie stars. They're Ivan's co-stars, and they're getting paid their millions, and they're free. They're gonna work harder for you, because there's this being free and rich is the best feeling in the world. But there's no such thing as being free and rich in this world. Either you're rich and you're a dirty slave, or you're free and you're not rich. By rich, I mean you're not like a millionaire. You're not making 500K. If you can make 100K, 200K, and be free. But the moment you hit probably 300, 400K, you probably met a gatekeeper. Because the moment you make your 300, 400,000 plus, you're now rich. You're really really rich. And the moment you hit the millions, guaranteed you met a gatekeeper. You didn't make that money for free, man. You met a gatekeeper, guaranteed. And you have to sell out to the gatekeeper to make your millions. That's how it works. Nothing is free in this world. The fact that I have to pay to make my buzz, what makes you think these guys, yeah, they have to pay too. Yeah. Yeah. So that's my deal for Peter. If his agent gets greedy, I'm giving you a heads up, Peter. If you get greedy and you want 1%, you're not getting 1% of my money. I'm giving you 0.6% or 0.4 if the movie does more, and he'll still make his 250 plus million in royalties. So Peter signed his $350 plus million deal. He's gonna walk away with what, like a 180 plus $200 million check in his bank after taxes and his agent. His agent takes 10%. His agent's gonna strike it rich. Peter's agent is gonna strike it rich, man. If Peter Jackson makes like $400 from my movie, his agent took home $40 million of his money, man. Yeah, man. Took home like $40 million of his money. Peter Jackson will make his like 200 million after taxes around there. My guess is Peter will make about 160, 170, 180 million after taxes in his agent around there. So if he does 430 million, he will make like 180, 190 million dollars, Peter Jackson, for the royalties. Whereas with his salary, he made like 260 million plus after taxes with his salary and bonuses. Because for Peter Jackson's salary and his bonuses, he's gonna make about $58 million after taxes, and that does not include the royalty checks, obviously, that he's gonna receive, obviously. You see what I'm saying? Hence why Peter Jackson worked harder for me, because what? I paid him way more money than what he made for Lord of the Rings. He'd be like, yeah, Ivan, don't worry about it. I'll work harder for you. Fuck Hollywood, man. Even though I was in Hollywood, I was I made a lot of money. I was a fucking dirty ass slave. Hollywood's dirty as fuck, man. I had to smash a lot of people while I was filming. It was very annoying. You know what I'm saying? All these dirty ass people, and I got burned. Yeah. It smelled like ass in the fucking trailer. Yeah, you have to do it. Because all those people are all ex. Don't hate me. They're all dirty people. Peter Jackson had to smash all those people, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, he paid a price to make his $180 million. Yeah, man. He paid a price. And that's why I don't have to worry about Peter stacking off. He'll work double harder for me. Peter, I'm going to give you freedom. All I ask is that you work your ass off for me. I have no worry, but I'm going to work harder for you than what I even did for The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. I'm going to work my ass off for you, Ivan. Don't worry, Ivan. We're going to make an amazing movie together, and we make an amazing movie together. It's the best story we told the most picture. I'll show my camera here.